Okay, so Six Souls. It was released in 2013 here in the United States, but it was released first in Japan in 2010 under the name Shelter. So taking 3 years to come over here, that's a pretty bad sign right off the bat. So Julianne Moore is our main character. She's like a psychologist, and one of the first sentences out of her mouth is multiple personality disorder doesn't exist. So for a psychologist, it's like, you just lost all credibility. So that's her whole thing. She goes out to try to disprove people who have multiple personality disorder. It's like, you're a bitch. So our main bad guy, our villain, he is a guy who has multiple personalities. And it is later revealed that he is assuming these personalities because he kills them. Now, that would have been a great twist. It really would have. If I wasn't spoiled in the description of the movie. I watched this on Tubi, and I love Tubi. I absolutely love Tubi. It's a godsend. But in the description for the movie, like the quick little synopsis, it outright tells you that a guy is assuming the identities of his murder victims. Not murder victims in general, which that would have been okay. You know, he could just be a guy who reads about murder, you know, people who are murdered, and he assumes their identities. Nope, it was his murder victims. So it's like, well, the twist is ruined, thanks. But there is another big reveal that thankfully the synopsis did not spoil for me. It turns out that this guy, he is some reverend who died in 1918. So right off the bat, I'm thinking, and there's footage of his murder, because he was murdered, because of course he is, because he was like teaching things that like the rest of the village, like elders didn't approve of, blah, 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 typical shit. So it's actually shown how he dies, or how his like soul gets sucked out of his body or something like that. It's not entirely made clear what's going on because because the footage is silent, because it's from 1918. There's no sound. Oh, and here's another thing. A little into the movie, we find out that there's a witch doctor. And when we're watching the footage of what's happening, it's the same witch doctor. It's the same old woman. So she is still alive. You know, fucking 90 some odd years later, like 800 years later, almost. So it's like, what is happening? That none of that is ever explained, of how this guy is still alive, how this woman is still alive. Just none of it is explained. Now the ending, kind of anticlimactic. This guy kills her daughter, unfortunately. So he immediately assumes the identity of the daughter. And there's this grown man kneeling next to this child's body. And like the way he kills people is like he sucks the souls out of their bodies. At least that's what it looks like. Hence the title, Six Souls. And him like putting his mouth up to a child. It's like, who in their right mind approved that? But anyway, after he kills her, you know, he assumes her identity, and the whole time like, Mommy, Mommy. And it's like, this is so fucking creepy. Like, it's not like creepy in like a good horror way. It's just creepy. And then Julianne Moore has to kill him, and she's like choking him to death. He's like, Mommy, Mommy, God. And it's just fucked up. But then, oh my God, the daughter comes back to life, and it is implied that she now has all the personalities in her. And it's just so dumb. It's so dumb. Ultimately, Six Souls, or Shelter, whatever you want to call it, it's not at all suspenseful. Like, at all. Like I said, the ending is anticlimactic. The story in general is all over the place, and it's just so nonsensical. The entirety of the story, the plot, it makes no sense. The only thing this movie has going for it is that it is overall well acted. Julianne Moore is great as her character. The guy that plays her killer, I can't remember the actor's name. I didn't write it down. He's really good in his role, like assuming different like characters, except for the child part, because that was just disturbing and not in a good horror way. But it is well acted. So I'm going to give Sick Souls, aka Shelter, I'm going to give it 3.5.
Did you enjoy the review? Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to see a new Craptacular Horror Review every week. Feel free to leave a comment to discuss your thoughts on the movie, or if you have a film you'd like to see reviewed in the future. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.